Hello everyone, welcome to the episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. Ben is back, Joe is out unfortunately, but hopefully he'll be back soon too. So, we are starting off our comedy series with one of our colleagues' picks, Bodies, which is a dark horror comedy about a group of friends that meet up at a friend's mansion. Parents are away. They decide to have a hurricane party during an actual hurricane.
As rich people do.
Exactly.
So stupid.
And then, as part of a bonding experience, because there's a bit of tension amongst the friends, one of the friends says, let's play a game, Bodies. So it's essentially where one person is assigned the role of the murderer. If that person taps you, you become the dead body. When the dead body is discovered, people gotta shout, bodies. Then you gotta figure out who the killer is. And that's where our story takes off from.
You gotta figure out who done it. And we have our own body right now.
This is my pick.
It was your pick.
Amanda, 10 out of 10 pick. This thing was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It slapped, as the kids would say.
It was so like on the money with all the things like we make fun of ourselves and maybe our younger generation with the trigger moments and you know that battle of like that argument at the end right before, is it Emma gets it? Emma Seligman, who's the one from Shiva Baby.
That's Alice.
Alice. And before Alice gets it, oh my god.
Alice was such a gem in this movie. She was just the right amount of stupid
Everything,
for the whole
I laughed
group.
at everything she said.
Everything
She said.
No, I just found Alice to be really stupid.
Same.
She was the
That's
comedic
why.
part of
That's
this
why I
whole
laughed.
movie,
That didn't make
which
me
was
laugh.
she was the comedic part of this whole movie because every time someone died, I said my favorite line was the SV, like when they find Pete Davidson dead, she's like, it's SV, like, haven't you ever seen SVU? It's like, you're not supposed to touch the body, he's evidence now.
God, yeah, this was who wrote this movie?
This movie was done
was
by
so smart.
Helena Rain.
Mm-hmm.
The only other movie I have seen her work on or be in was Valkyrie, the one with Tom Cruise.
So this is really her.
Much different.
Wow.
She has a lot of stuff.
A lot of writing credits, and is it the same director?
As an actress, she did a lot of acting. As a writer, she did a TV series called Red Light, and then she did a movie called Instinct. As a producer, I think this might be her only directing.
So, Sarah Delop and Kristen Ropiani wrote it.
Or Pennion.
Halina Regin directed it.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. And it's apparently all shot around here.
Yeah, that was news to me. Yeah.
So first off, I want to go to and talk about how B screwed up the car. I've done that several times. I have personally done that where I've ran the battery out by doing something stupid.
That's the first thing I said. When she left the lights on, I was like, there goes your car's battery. And I like how they linger. I was like, oh my god. I've done that too. No, it wasn't the vanity light I think I left on. Wasn't the vanity light?
It was the vanity. It was the mirror light. It was,
I
put
left
it down
something
to look at
on
herself.
without realizing. Oh no, what it was? It was not the overhead lights. Are they called the overhead lights? The one you put. Yeah. I left that because I tapped it and I thought I had tapped it again and turned it off. And then when my dad went to teach Mr. how to drive, he couldn't start the car. And he was
pissed at you.
I've done that several times because sometimes when you turn the light on, you don't realize that it's on. Like when you come out of the car, the lights are on. So I'm I can't tell if they're on. So I just don't touch them anymore.
Yeah, neither do I. Ever since then, I don't do it anymore because I thought I had tapped it. And then the next day, it was like, message was like, we couldn't figure out why it didn't start, blah, blah, blah. We couldn't get anywhere. And I was like, I'm sorry. So I knew things were going to end badly the minute she didn't close it. I was like, close the mirror. It wasn't good. But, my opinion of this movie changed after talking with Lou this morning. Because at first I couldn't find the comedy. I know it's a satire, I know it's poking fun at Gen Z and everything that Gen Z kind of cares about, but I couldn't find the comedy in it. And then talking to Lou, I was like, actually there are a lot of funny moments in this.
Somebody that she started off saying, you know, I didn't really think it was funny at all. I don't really see the comedy. And then she's like, but this scene was funny, and this scene was also funny. this part was also funny. This part was pretty funny too. And then she's like, oh wait, I think I get it.
It is a dark comedy. It's
We
not
need to
supposed
talk it
to
through.
It's not supposed to be like a laugh, like ha ha ha,
Well,
funny.
because
But these
I-
situations they're finding themselves in,
Yeah.
even like, and this is going to be spoiler territory for anybody interested in the movie. Like the endings, the whole ending got me laughing so hard because you find out that they were just running around looking for a murderer that didn't exist instead of just Pete Davidson being stupid, trying to look cool on a TikTok, and I died. I was like, oh.
Because he was so jealous of this
Greg,
man that was in the house.
Yeah.
And that was the only part of the movie I actually found funny.
When I saw that reveal, like one thing that I thought was humorous was how B unlocks the phone. Like after Sophie says it's not
Opens
my
his
phone,
eye.
she like opens the eye and then she puts it over, which I thought, oh, that's funny. And then
He's
I'm
got some
watching
survival tactics.
Yes, and I'm watching the TikTok. I'm like, oh God, I know where this is headed.
Yeah.
And honestly, I said out loud, my God, was he stupid?
Yeah.
That was all for nothing. Like I was like, I got so frustrated. I was like, oh my God. I'm surprised the phone worked too, because it was like in mud. Unless like iPhones are that
Oh, they're
sturdy.
so waterproof now.
Oh, okay, all right.
You could go under. You go into the pool and use the iPhone underwater and take pictures.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I have Androids.
They don't
You can do
recommend
that with
it,
Android
Davey do
now
it.
too.
Oh, okay. Well,
Like I have the newer one, and they
I'm
say
a long
it can
way
go
since
pretty
my
far
day.
in the water. Not that I'll do it, but
I think
I'll put it in those little waterproof pouches.
I think this is one of those movies that is going to be just very rewatchable. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because yes, it was very funny, but the tension of it was strong enough that it probably subdued the laughter along the way. Because like when Pete Davidson punches Greg,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is that whole segment is kind of hilarious, but we don't
the
know what
slap
the
shots.
we don't know what the
See?
vet is going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
That was he's a veterinarian.
He's not a vet. He's a veterinary's assistant.
but I like it. I was talking to Lou, like one of the moments of like great tension is when everyone is saying that David, Pete's character, is the murderer. And Dave's like, well, why do you think I'm the murderer? Like they're having that argument back and forth. And Greg
This is
says,
how me and my friends play
Yeah.
werewolf.
yeah, like the best defense
Very
is
Defense is a good
nasty.
offense.
it's a good offense. And Pete's like, okay, well, explain that to me. And Greg goes, he repeats it. Because I think he thinks it's, well, isn't it obvious what I'm saying? And it kind of reminded me of Goodfellas when Pesci's character is like, well, funny how? And like, he's one moment away from like killing someone.
Yeah.
So that was a great build-up, like the tension in that scene, because, and also Lee Pace is a fantastic actor.
Agreed.
And the way his face changed was like, oh, he's gonna kill this guy. And I'm all for it, because David, you're annoying. Get over your complex and just move on.
Yes.
Extra tense because the screenplay is so well written that we think he's a
A vet, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what
I thought there was so much going
Not a
on.
vet.
I'd almost love to see like alternate endings to this whole thing because everybody had a motive
Yeah.
Yeah.
for murdering each other. It was like everybody had an issue with somebody else that it felt like this was very realistic in the sense like, why wouldn't you be the murderer? Because I honestly thought, like, when we met Greg the first time, but then I realized, I was like, oh, we're only, like, not even halfway through the movie and they're accusing Greg yet. I was like, too soon.
Yeah.
But then it was, like, B talking about, and also Alice coming in with one of the best lines of the movie. It's like, my mom has borderline. And she's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's really serious. Mental health is a really serious issue. I mean, I've never actually said this to anyone, but I have body dysmorphia, and Jordan coming out like, oh my God.
Yeah. I need to know how much of that was like in the screenplay or they're just all brilliant.
Ad-libbing it?
Yeah, because
But when she said her mom had like borderline, I was like, oh, okay, so there's the creepy, mental illness, like, because we've seen that happen where like she can like, maybe she has it too, maybe she can switch.
Yeah.
That's how horror movies always portray like borderline personality disorder, is they always like, bam, they're like, oh, they just switch it off and it's somebody else and they're murdering everybody and she just doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that wasn't it at all. I thought that's what it was gonna end up being. And
But I think it would have been obvious because, like, the movie, of course, is playing on the stereotypes. Like, I like when the mask, is there a gun in the house? And they said, no, David's
His
parents, their
politics
politics check out. With
That's my first theory.
yeah, with, like, the assumption that, like, Republicans, like, there's a certain type that own guns. So it's like, oh no, they're liberal. They don't own guns. So it's playing with those stereotypes, like the assumption that vet equals like vet served.
Yeah.
That they obviously have mental instability. So of course it's the vet that killed people. So they're playing with these, I think, stereotypes, that the notion of if you have mental illness or you could have been, well, naturally you're the violent and aggressive one. Everyone else of us, we're level normal. Like we can't possibly do this. So I like how they're playing with those stereotypes as well. And even Alice, I love the awkward exchange that she has with, is it Alice or is it with Sophie?
With Jordan.
With Jordan.
Yeah.
How she's trying to say, like, I can sympathize, but you can see that she's struggling to find the correct words to show that she is basically not woke, but I don't know what the other word I'm looking for, but basically, like, I understand what you go through, but she can't, because she doesn't really sympathize at all. And another awesome moment when they're talking about how rich they are.
Yeah.
And she
This is where I thought you were going.
yeah, and Alice goes, you always want to talk, Jordan, about your rags to riches story. Your parents are professors. You are upper middle class. And I love Jordan. She deadpans, the school is public. And Alice goes, oh, like, like, that was one of the best moments for me, where she's like, it's public. As if, like, yeah, because it's true, like, she is part of their group, but she's trying to differentiate herself, like, I'm not like you, I'm more down to earth or whatever, but yeah, there were a lot of good moments.
Are Lee Pace and Pete Davidson giants? Because one thing that struck me in that basketball court was everyone seemed like they were up to his waist.
Yeah, I think they are. I know Pete Davidson's pretty tall.
Yeah, Lee Pace, I think, is like 6 foot something. I think
He's a tall guy.
Yeah,
He towers people.
Yeah, I need to know if he's like 6'7"
I'll
or
find out.
something, or if they're all just like really tall.
Yeah.
I don't think 6'7", but.
And do you think the openings, the pool scene had any significance? Like, I was thinking about the pool scene because at first I didn't realize they were playing a game. Like, why are all these rich people just holding
He's
their breath
6'5".
underwater?
Lee Pace is 6'5".
He's pretty tall.
Oh wow.
That's pretty good.
And
Pete Davidson must be 6'3" or 4" because he wasn't that much underneath.
he's 6'3".
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like, I was wondering if, because the way all the characters are, because, like, David and Emma are paired, Jordan is the only one who's alone, and then you have Greg and Alice who are also paired. And maybe there's no significance at all, like, because, like, you think that when
Emma's got 2 boos.
What happened?
Emma's got 2 boos. Remember Max? He shows up at the very end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, he's gonna come! And he did! Very
That
much.
was Max, or that
was Max.
the
Yeah.
dad?
No, that was
was
Max.
Max.
That's
Yeah.
Max. He only gets 1 line in the entire movie.
What
It's just like, what happened here? And that's it.
Because when you see them in the pool, like, Emma and David, like, they're very close, so they have the illusion that they're a good couple, but you learn that basically they're not really.
Pete Davidson's
Functioning.
dealing with the
Yeah.
fact that she's. I think it sounded like it was going to be like a threesome kind of situation. She met some guy on Tinder and that was going to happen, but he didn't like that, and he didn't like him. And
Is that the daughter from the girl from The Craft? That looks like. What's her name?
Emma's
Robin-
name
Robin
is
Tunney?
Chase Sui Wonders. That's her. That's the actress's name.
Okay, Robin Tunney from The Craft. You know who I'm talking about? 90s actress, super famous, like one of the mega 90s actresses.
Is she the main one in the craft?
She's the main character.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Not the main villain. That's Firuza Balk, but the main
Oh.
character.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I swear they're like. It looks like a clone of Robin.
They
Tunney.
don't say who her mother or father is, but it says her father is of Chinese ancestry and her mother's Caucasian.
Cool.
That's a bit of it. But she's also an actress and director in her own right.
Very
I
good.
think one of the girls was in The Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah, that's the one who plays Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actress who plays Sophie.
I really liked, again, like, I think every single time Alice spoke, I laughed.
Don't call
When-
her a psychopath. That's so ableist.
Oh my god.
When I think it's when they're talking about how it could be Greg as the killer. One of the things she's like, he's a Libra moon, and that says a lot.
Oh yeah, he's a Libra moon rising. He's a Libra moon rising, and I'm like, she's like, he can't be. He's a Libra moon rising.
You're just like, what the hell does that mean?
Astrology people.
It's great.
That was that scene. Yeah, that one segment in particular was just like this shining light on how clever this script was, or how clever this team was, because
Yeah.
just the Libra moon stuff, ableist stuff. It all came out. The trigger moments, like
Yeah.
everything that like is
The body
in our
dysmorphia
lexicon
one
today
was the best line.
the body dysmorphia
I have
moment.
body dysmorphia.
Yeah, I think it also kind of went to show how, like, they start off saying, you know, it can't be us, we all know each other, we all care about each other. But over the course of the movie, you learn
Yeah.
Dude, when they first went, when
there's a bunch of resentment.
Well, when
Yeah.
Sophie and B first show up to the whole thing, she says that, like, they're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
They ask her, like, what's she doing here?
Yeah.
She's been in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she just got out or escaped. I have no idea what the story
They trigger her and enable her.
They trigger her and enable her, and she does really well for the first bit of this whole thing. They, like, offer her a drink. She says, no. Like, I'm sober. And so I wanted to know more about what was going on with David's family and Sophie's family. They knew each other for a while, and so I know that she's trying to get her. I think they said trying to get her money,
Yeah.
like get put back on, you know, her family's
So she obviously,
trust. Yeah.
she
Did we
obviously
find
messed
out
up
if her
pretty
and
big.
Jordan actually?
Yes.
I believe they
Yeah.
did
They
because
did,
she
but-
B finds the underwear, which
In
in
she
the
sniffs
car.
it.
Yeah.
It was a really weird scene. I was just like, because we saw the yellow
If you
bra
find underwear, you
somewhere.
gotta sniff it.
Well, there was
But
a yellow
I-
bra. If you notice, there was a
Yeah,
yellow
I know,
bra
I
that
saw
she
another
finds, and
connection.
she goes, and then Jordan goes, "Give me that," and that's her bra. So you find the matching pair of underwear
I thought
in
it
the
was
car.
because
and
maybe
she's-
Jordan had a perfume, and the perfume would be on the clothing.
No.
No.
Okay, fine. Just ignore that I said
That
that.
was cute.
Just ignore that I said that.
Sweet child. Sweet summer child.
Let's ignore that I just said that. Cut that out.
Bless her.
No, leave that. Let's leave that in.
No! Don't leave that in! No!
It's not a children's podcast.
Pervert.
No. No, it's
Let's talk more about Simona.
Don't.
So I didn't like Jordan, but I think that was more her acting in the sense that she really played a and Joe might have to censor me for this episode. She played hardcore during this entire movie, and I was like, "You're being so mean," and it reminds me of what I showed Lou Leslie. I was like, "Stop being mean to me." It's all I thought whenever she came up. She was so accusatory.
Yeah.
So
Slap her, too.
nasty, but it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
I could see like the jealousy when we find out at the end that she's been sleeping with her,
Yeah.
but she's like upset, and you can't really tell all the reasons she's upset, but like Sophie's been sleeping with her whenever she needs her, like to be there. She's also seen her friend almost die, a gajillion times because of drug overdose, and so it's like you can't really tell fully what Jordan's intentions were.
She was
Does she want to be with
righteously
her?
angry.
Does she not want to be with her? Does she think B? She's just not trusting of anybody that's there. It makes you feel
Yeah.
like all those friends are just superficial,
Mhm.
and they're
Okay.
not real friends to her.
I mean, I don't know if anyone else got this sense, or it's probably just me reading too much into it, but I didn't think that we were supposed to be sympathetic to any of the characters.
No, you're not. It's a bunch of rich
Yeah.
kids having
Except
a
for B,
hurricane.
like
Yeah,
I
maybe B.
felt for B because when she's first introduced, like how nervous she is, and I've been in a situation where like I've been to a party and I'm like, why am I here? So I think the actress conveyed that perfectly, where she wants to be true to who she is, but at the same time she wants to fit in, make her girlfriend happy, because especially
She's gonna meet her girlfriend's friends. It always happens
Yeah.
in relationships where
Yeah.
like you're introduced to the major group of players that's gonna be in their lives for a long
Scenario.
time.
But I think the fact that Sophie has to tell her though, like when B is scrolling, she says, "I know they look vapid, but they're not like that."
Nihilistic.
Nihilistic,
yeah,
I have,
that's-
I have a bunch of the lines on here.
Yeah, that's kind of telling that she has to sort of like assure her, and then they end up being very much as they are in social media. But I like what Ben brought up about Jordan.
That's what
I would say that Jordan is the one who I think truly cares about Sophie. And I think it's realistic that at a certain point you basically lose all patience saying, we've done everything, but you just aren't willing to sort of meet us. So I think she probably is the only one who
Sophie
may have
doesn't
truly
mean
cared
she-
about Sophie. The other ones I think were just sort of,
I truly
Along-
cared about Alice.
Yeah.
Alice was my favorite character.
Yeah.
She was very awake. She was paying attention to everyone else's troubles and needs and thoughts.
There's one line here that also it's like are you f***ing talking behind about us behind my back, like David said? Emma's like, no, and Alice goes, yes. She's the truth teller this whole time. At least she's like honest with herself, and she's just being her.
That can keep.
And so, how long have you guys been together? How long have you and Greg been actually dating? She's like, a while. And they're like, how long? She's like, 2 weeks.
Well, she actually says it's been a very long time, and Andrew was like, how long? And then she says 2
2 weeks. How well do you know Greg?
But it's funny because like I've seen people like when they talk about relationships, like, oh, we've been together for so long. Like where you see people and like, okay, well, how long have you been? Like, it's been 4 months, which I get fine. Maybe 4 months is maybe things are relative, like because the way they seem is that like we've been together for like years. Yeah, and you always wonder too with B and Sophie, like, so they've been together for 6 months, but
not
like
6 months, 6
6
weeks.
6
weeks. Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
my
sorry.
bad. It's always been weeks, 2 weeks, 6
yeah,
weeks.
okay, so never mind. I was gonna say something, but now it makes sense. Never mind, forget about it. I'm not gonna say it.
I know, I love you.
Oh yeah, that's an
It's
awkward.
like, I love
moment.
you. Do you love me? And I'm like, girl, just 6 weeks. I can't say that yet.
But I guess it's a very addictive thing. So she's probably addicted to substances. She's probably addicted to like the feeling of emotion or like.
I'm generalizing, but like people who are addicted to drugs have an addicted personality.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, it's an addictive personality. So you can get.
Well, sometimes it's just the drugs.
Because Sophie's personality completely, she was actually kind of mean the first time we see her after taking a bump. We see her literally coming at her friends, like, rain.
Yeah.
Claws came out. Just like that.
I love.
And that's what starts everybody fighting all over again, is the things that she's saying. Like to Emma. That's what it was. She's like, are you really making this about you? And then she pulls the same card. She's like, are you serious right now? You're making it about you? And I'm like,
I'm scared too.
I'm scared too. I thought that scene was pretty funny too, despite the circumstances they found themselves in. It was just like, she's like, are you serious right now? You're making it about you? And it's just, she turns that whole argument back. I was like, are you serious? You're making it about you? And I'm like,
and I love.
It's about everybody right now.
I love how the movie was like put together, like shot. It was like so chaotic, and like they were using basically their own phone lights, and that was the only light in the shot.
Those phones lasted quite a bit of time.
And, you know, they might have been
just brand new, out of the pocket, like, you know.
They were charged. Yeah, maybe they were charged though, but yeah. And it was
charged.
It was always moving. Like there weren't like
not
moments.
a wasted moment.
Yeah. Everything was poignant.
It did make me ask though, who had Sophie's phone?
Well, I mean, you know,
at the end, it wasn't Sophie's phone because she's like, Jordan tells her to check the text messages.
I thought she chucked it in the pool.
She chucked it, but then they found they went after the same phone together, and then the phone they found was not Sophie's phone. It was what's his face's, or it might have been Alice's because they were filming the TikTok on her phone initially.
Well, then how is it that Pete's face unlocked?
That's true. That's true.
You know,
there we go. He just had a really dumb phone case.
If cult classics,
sorry, I can't judge.
If the whole like industry of movies isn't just drowning itself, this will be one of those movies that's going to go on for years and be a cult classic. I'm hesitant to.
If it's
anything's going to be a cult classic anymore because everything's just getting drowned out in streaming services and mass releases and just, you know, Hulu has like a dozen of its own releases, so does Netflix. This came out in theaters for a hot minute and then dropped on Peacock, now it's on Amazon. I want this movie to persist because it's such a clever script.
Well, it is an A24 movie, so hopefully with that alone, with the way that A24 kind of handles its stuff, I've seen how they
should be the cult classic machine.
They really are. It's like I don't hear anybody talking about like Hereditary anymore. I don't hear anybody talking about Midsommar anymore. And it's kind of like had its phase for like a month, and then it kind of just. And now the only people I find are like on TikTok who do like. I like how A24 markets how they put out their DVDs. They do like the art
You just said
books.
fighting words, and now you're moving on from it. Hereditary is at like the top of almost every top 20 horror film list of the 21st century.
Mine. I actually thought
in actual critics.
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about
Maybe you're right.
I don't hear it anymore.
Maybe
Like
you're right about
nobody's talking
Midsommar.
about it. Midsummer
Yeah,
was
Midsommar
a
might not
mixed
have landed the
bag.
way.
You don't hear anybody talking
Has anybody
anymore.
watched Beau is Afraid yet? I hear it's absolute madness.
Joe saw it. Joe said it was mixed. He had mixed feelings, and so I want to see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is it out yet?
Hereditary is constantly talked about. I think Midsommar has sort of gone by the wayside.
Yeah, I know we have that one advertised.
Bless you.
Thank you.
A24 has done. I mean, they did
A24.
Spring Breakers.
We
They
talked
did
about The Green Knight.
Spectacular Now.
The Green Knight
Enemy.
is the greatest. Oh, yeah, that's that Jake Gyllenhaal film. Is that
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve?
Well, they have
Yeah.
they have that new movie coming, Past Lives, coming out.
A24 is
and
just a publisher, though, right? It's not like a group of directors. It's just like a production company that takes smaller films or helps fund smaller films.
Yeah, they're a film distribution
Yeah.
company. Yeah.
But
So-
they sure know how to pick them because Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yep.
We also had The Whale.
Yeah. Oh, screw that movie.
I didn't see it, but I know it's.
The Most Violent Year.
Mm,
That's a good one.
that was pretty good.
There was, what was it, X?
Ex
I
Machina.
think.
X.
Not Ex Machina.
And
they
but-
did Ex Machina
Oh,
also.
did they?
Yeah.
Was it X and Pearl?
And
Upstairs?
Pearl.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not Blumhouse?
Well,
Mississippi
it's the same.
Grind.
The movie is about.
Mississippi Grind with
Girl.
Ryan Reynolds and
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah.
Mendelsohn?
Well, Pearl is the prequel to X.
Yeah. Prequel sequel.
I haven't seen it. I really want to.
It's awesome. So X was filmed like a 1970s like grindhousey chic kind of movie,
Yeah.
and
It was
Pearl
very,
kind of filmed
very.
like Wizard of Oz. You not? It's got like the super Technicolor, very.
Oh,
Like,
I think I've seen
beautiful
some
look,
scenes from it. Euphoria. It looks like it's going to be distributed via.
Yeah. Ooh,
A24.
is it time to talk about The Idol and what a
I haven't watched any of it yet.
bag of hot garbage that turned out to be?
All I saw
Oh,
were
is it there?
reviews
I'm glad I
every
haven't
week,
watched
and
it.
I saw like a finale review where someone was just like, oh god.
Well,
And I was like, I love The Weeknd also, but I was like, I've never
looking-
seen him act other than his music videos, which I thought were really cool. But outside of his music videos, I'm like,
I'm very much looking forward to the making of documentary of that series that comes out in like 5 years, and just to see what. Apparently, like Amy Simons was the original director, and she like had this whole different view of it from like a feminist perspective, and then The Weeknd and who's the guy from Euphoria?
Sam
It's
Levinson.
like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, you're fired, female director with female eye. We're gonna just make this about.
oh, there's the new horror movie they're coming out with
That's
called Talk to Me. That like a lot of people are talking about. I really want to see it.
That one actually,
I've been told that critics who've
I
seen
think
it
I
so
would
far
wanna-
are saying it's one of the scariest movies to come out this year.
it's
And
an
I was just like,
interesting concept of like
the monkey paw.
Yeah, the finger. I didn't think about that, but like the finger pointing, and that's a conduit, and like I don't know. As someone who like sees things, I don't know if I would ever wanna
You see
like.
things?
Wait, yeah. Go
Wait.
back to that?
Yeah.
That's not something we brush over.
Yeah.
No, I've mentioned that before. We
Not-
did a
not on the
podcast.
podcast.
Watch movies
Yes.
or you see things.
No, I see. No, I've mentioned the podcast, and when Amanda was
Yeah,
getting
we did a
freaked out.
spooky podcast
Yeah.
before I think we had everybody here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You never told me about
Yeah,
this.
what do you
Yeah,
Sorry.
maybe we should revisit that one day. Maybe we should talk
I-
about our spooky experiences.
No, I've had
Did
like
we do that once?
We did.
We did, yeah. Well, just as a quick thing, because I could go on for hours, and we don't have hours.
Sure we
Like
do.
one.
Now we do.
Well, one example, and I've had family members tell me you're in a dream state, which is possible, whatever.
It's like Inception.
Like
She's
I've seen like this wasn't when I, like Mount Vernon to Mayapack to when I'm now in my current house. Like one example that I can bring up is I saw a woman with a group of school-aged children, and she was leading them across. It was like when you're helping someone cross a road, and she looked at me, smiled, and they disappeared into the wall. It was a small like a group of children that she was
Like
leading.
Like
9.5.
Madeline.
Probably. I don't know what it
time
was.
was it?
I don't recall. Like
3 a.m. is usually the witching hour, but
yeah, it's possible. I had another one where I saw this man. He was standing on my sister's side of the bed, and he was looking at her, smiling.
Oh,
And then he looked at me, and the smile just dropped from his face, and he disappeared. He went back into the bookshelf, like he walked backwards and disappeared.
So I was like, I'm out.
So
Just
that
like,
she
I'm
won't
sleeping
do
downstairs.
the thing with us. That's why she
No,
won't go to the
because
abandoned
well, I've
hospital
had
with
family too, and I don't think my family would have reason to lie. Like I had a great aunt. My Aunt Maria, when she was a baby, was afflicted with something, And her aunt said, oh my God, look at what they did to you. She blew on her face and everything disappeared. So, and I don't think my family would lie about that. My mom had a dream of this man who was dead years before she was born. And he said, Franca, my mom's name is Francesca, tell them there's fire, tell them there's fire. And I think a week later, a barn in the town burned down. And I think he might have been related to the family.
Did she tell them that there was fire?
She told her mother, because she didn't know how to interpret, and my grandmother said, I don't know what to tell you. But so, people have experienced things in my family. But that's the reason why I know people don't say like spirits aren't real. I don't believe that, whether you call it energy or whatever. That's why I don't think you mess with certain things, because you don't know what you disrupt and what you bring upon yourself.
Like Ouija boards.
Yeah, like
we're bringing it in
Don't
here.
play
I'm bringing mine in here.
I've never-
I got a spirit
Nope.
board. Let's go.
Respect.
So that's why, like, when I
won't
watched
do
the
that, but
trailer
I got
for
sage. You'll be
Talk to
fine.
Me, I was
You
like,
just follow the rules and it's
interesting,
totally fine.
but
That's why
God
movies,
knows
like,
what
make
you
it
bring
scary.
over,
Don't follow
you
the
know,
rules.
so.
If I woke up
You don't say
and
goodbye,
saw somebody
then.
standing over my bed or something like that, and they weren't real,
But I have felt things, you
Or
know
they
the
weren't hot,
sensation
or
of
they like
covers
that.
being pulled, if someone walks on the bed, like the sensation of the covers being pulled by walking here.
Yeah.
I've felt that multiple times. I've even felt like, because I've had sleep paralysis as well, where like I was on the side of the bed, my bed, and I felt someone walking on the bed. I could feel the covers being pulled, but I didn't want to look to see who it was. Another time, I felt a presence actually bend down because I felt and I could tell that they were looking at me, but I didn't want to look because I was saying, you know, you're gonna go away, and I'm gonna ignore you.
you should
And
write horror movies.
No. And no, it's terrifying because my heart was beating so fast. I was genuinely terrified, but I couldn't move. So, and
Sleep
She has,
paralysis. gotta be
I was just telling Brian's dad
horrifying.
about this. He didn't know it was a
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, nah, sleep paralysis. You hear like
no, I've
some cool
had it.
artwork comes out of it.
Hey,
Yeah, it's-
Simona, though,
yeah.
you actually warded off like a creepy ghost that was like spying on your sister. Like you saw him, you threw enough shade at him, and you basically
Yeah.
walked
So
away
I-
ashamed.
I-
Your
of yourself.
smile
Yeah, that's a
creepy.
good point.
I
He,
mean,
like-
I guess so, but like I've had too many moments, like especially like when I dream. And I know this is going way off topic. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay.
That's right, we've
But-
switched topics.
Yeah.
But I've had dreams
like-
that are genuinely terrifying. Where like dreams, like one time it was a dream that was so terrifying that in the dream I said, okay, I'm too scared. I'm going to wake up now, and I woke myself up. Like I have really disturbing, horrifying dreams, and they center around me being voiceless, where I can't talk or call out for help. And what I've told my family is like every time I'm trying to save you guys do not pay attention to me, and you end up dying in the dream. It's like, why don't you listen to me?
Watch out.
You know, I've been killed before in my dreams. I had a dream where my brother was watching me getting attacked by dogs, and he just started laughing and would not intervene to like help me in any way. So that's why, yeah, I think certain things hit too
my
close to
God.
home, and I don't want to deal with it. So FYI, if you guys ever decide to go like haunted, like I will not go. Well, maybe I'll go for like emotional support, but I'll be standing outside the building.
I'll be with you. I'll be
Yeah,
right there
because,
with you.
like,
No, thank you.
I do believe that places have energy, and some energy is evil, some energy is good, and you don't know what you bring back. Man, you could go. I'll just be there for
I said it's
emotional
negative
support.
energy.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
why you get horror movies and horror
So-
movies that they don't follow the rules. And
Yeah.
then they don't like, you know, that they don't say goodbye
Yeah,
at the
so
end. And
This is
then
very interesting.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you weren't in that recording, but I've spoken about
Before
that.
you met me?
Oh, well,
No, I
see,
feel like he was here.
I feel like you were in that recording.
It's not about me. I'm not making this about me. I don't feel left out. I'm just very interested in what you're experiencing. It's
Yeah, it
and
happened.
when I say what I said about how you scared off that ghost,
Well, it
and I
happens
made
all-
light of it, I'm not making light of your
No,
experience.
no, it happens all the time. I was at my brother's house and I woke up and I saw a silhouette. It was a young girl about my niece's age. She was silhouetted. Her hair was out and she was wearing a long nightgown. I said, why is my niece up here? She shouldn't be up here. And then I blinked again and she was gone. So I was like, okay, I'm going downstairs now. So I went downstairs and I sat, and my brother was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then my niece said, well, in the Philippines, we believe that a home unoccupied, even for a day, spirits go in. I said, thank you, Jean. I said, that's really what I needed to hear right now, while I thought I saw something. But yeah, so it's been like in Mount Vernon, it's been in like other people's homes where like I see things, or like one time I had the sleep paralysis where I saw a shadow climb from the floor up into the wall, and like I couldn't move. Like I was telling myself, oh my god, I need to move, I need to scream or do something, and I could do absolutely nothing, and I was so terrified. One night I actually screamed. I called out for my dad. I was like, Dad! I scared everyone. I said, there's someone in my room. I scared my parents pretty badly.
You're kind of scaring me.
Sorry.
No, I like it.
I'm coming over to someone's house.
Yeah, we have to like do
Be my
like
guest.
we have to like. Can we come to your house and if we feel things?
No, we
I have
don't
the
want to
pendulum
mess.
and I have a pendulum in my
We
backpack.
don't want to mess with that.
And
No.
It's not for that. It's not for that. I got my tarot cards. We're ready to go.
That'll do.
I have them in my bag.
Yeah.
You might be like, I mean,
You're medium.
some people are just more susceptible.
Well,
to,
that's when I went. Like,
Yeah.
there was a wonderful store called Trap Rock in Eastchester, and I went to this woman. I think she might have been a medium, and she did not a ceremony. It's not the word, but she did something where like she embraced me, and we were doing deep breathing, and she said, you know, you're very sensitive. So, like I said, other people in my family have had similar experiences. You know, so it's not just me, like, and I don't know whether it is dreaming or whatever, but I've had serious deja vu moments as well, where it's like, even over here, I was like, I know we've had this conversation before, where it's like down to every word that is spoken, we've done this before, and it's happened multiple times.
Let's talk about deja vu for a second. Not the
Yeah.
subject change again.
Yeah.
My take, deja vu. We are
You were not
experiencing.
in the episode.
I know I'm
We're
not,
talking
so I would have remembered.
Okay.
Was I?
Our creepy and bizarre. Yes, you were. You were a part of
Did you
this.
block
Katie
it
was
out?
in it. It was when it was me, Simona, you, Joe, and Katie.
Yeah, so maybe next time if we do like get to know us for spooky episode.
So deja vu. You're,
Nothing spooky's ever happened to me before, so
Yeah, I've got to go back to that episode and see what I said.
yeah.
But deja vu.
Sorry, Ben.
I was trying to think of something funny about something spooky that would happen to Katie. And I was thinking,
That would happen again.
Her tattoo came to life.
that'd be
Yo,
cool.
she like that
That'd be
guy
awesome.
from
Like that.
Electra.
Yeah.
All right.
Or she'd be like the guy from Moana.
My
Maui?
Maui. Yeah.
Electra's had a cool ability.
deja vu. My
Yes.
take on what it is, with absolutely no real research or anything backing this. We're experiencing our own infinite return. Basically, our whole life is just repeating our life, and then we die and we repeat our life, and then we die and we repeat our life. So the deja vu is the moment where we're recognizing, wait a minute, I've done this. The end.
Oh.
That was deep.
Yeah, no,
But
that would really
it
be
wasn't
interesting.
deep.
There's an anime
Why,
I watched that talks
with
about
deja vu, I've noticed with myself,
Mhm.
it's always such small, insignificant things, though.
Enough to make you, but you still remember. You're
Yeah.
still like, wait a second, I know
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
But like it'll be like pulling up to a stop sign a certain way at a certain time, or something in a a certain
Here I
fear.
am again.
Yeah, and be like, oh, like I'm having deja vu right now. Why?
It's like New Game Plus.
I mean, there's a science
But it's
to
never
explain
like-
it, but
Yeah, it's never like, oh, I'm meeting this person for the first time again. It's always those little things for me, like I've been in this stairwell before.
But then there's this person you meet, and you're like, I know this person.
Yeah,
I've just met this person, but I know this person.
that's true.
Have any of you ever revisited dream worlds?
Like going back to sleep because I wanted to get back to that dream.
all the
Yeah, and
time.
actually have done it.
I've done it.
Wait, is this the
I do
same
it every
thing?
night.
I've had a recurring
So
dream in my life.
Christmas.
It's like 3 times where I'm sitting on the moon, looking back at the stars, and I can see Earth off in the distance. It's very relaxing. And I'm sitting. Another one, I'm outside the window of where I live, and I'm like surfing with my feet like an inch above the grass at night, and I'm like sliding around my yard.
Cool.
But that's a weird one because I've had that in 2 different houses now, and it's the yard outside of the actual house I'm living in.
Yeah, it's really weird because my dreams tend to be highly detailed. I don't always remember every detail, but they are highly detailed dreams. I can either dream in color or like black and white. Mostly I dream in color. But I've actually revisited where it's almost exciting for me while I'm in the dream because I have such a sense of familiarity with the space that I'm inhabiting where I'm like, I've been here before. And it's happened a lot, and those are the kind of the fun dreams that I've had where
She's a joke.
well,
astrally projected.
It could be. I mean, because I believe it's possible, you know, but it's I don't know. Like those are the fun dreams that I've had. But yeah, like I have a lot, and I think also the reason why, like the horror, going back to the film, like the dark moments within the film, because I had a dream where I was with my sister-in-law and we went into this house. I don't know if it was supposed to be haunted. I don't know why it was there, but it became black, almost like when you put on red lights in a room. I don't know what those lights are called, but almost like when the emergency lights go on, and they could be like those red lights, very saturated. And I remember,
like at a club right before it's about to close.
Probably. And like, and I was there, and I remember like I was robbed of all ability to see anything, and I could hear like this sound of like, I think it was supposed to be the killer, and I remember I'm like hiding, and I'm saying, you know, this is just a terrible spot to be in. I'm like, I can't see anything. I couldn't find my sister-in-law, and I'm like, how do I get out of this? And I'm just like crouched, and like I can hear him coming closer. I said, well, okay, if I just keep quiet, he's not gonna notice me. But like I'm robbed of all ability to do anything because I can't see him. I can't pinpoint the location. I don't even know where I am. And I'm like, and I'm telling myself like, why are you in this situation? Why did you come here? It's just, I don't know, it's just really fascinating. So that's why I think I have issues where like there's utter darkness, and like how are you finding your way in the darkness? And like with large homes, because like the killer could be anywhere. I don't know.
Sometimes we have to make our way through the darkness to see the light.
True, but
where'd you get that, Lewis, from a fortune cookie?
it's
I should
still,
write fortune cookies.
it's still relevant. It's a lot better than some of the fortune cookies I've gotten. But yeah, so.
We recorded 2 podcasts today.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I want to know more about this, and you two seem like you both know a thing or two. One from experience, one from
I have experiences. It was in our episode.
Yeah, it's just, it's really weird things.
My stepmother's had incidents too, so.
Like what?
The butterfly lady.
The butterfly lady?
The butterfly lady. When I started getting into like tarot and stuff like that, one of my first tarot decks, I have a tarot deck, and then I have an oracle card set, which is usually smaller in size. They're more specific, and they have a separate function.
Can you do readings for all of us?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do it on the side.
Caffeinated Librarians?
I do it I still do it occasionally for friends. I used to do it as like a side hustle, like in high school.
Do we have to pay you?
$5.
But she believed in like angels and stuff like that. But when my sister was born, the house that we're currently living in and the one that we were in previously, she swore that she saw someone next to my sister. It wasn't a negative thing.
Yeah.
She felt it was a positive thing. So there was always this butterfly. She called her the butterfly lady because she was always accompanied by a butterfly, I think is how she said it. And so she felt like, you know, this was like definitely something that was like guarding my sister. It was like a positive thing.
There is the thing with butterflies,
Yeah.
that butterflies are like the spirits
It's
of...
a Japanese thing.
Yeah,
they
it's
believe
really-
that they're messengers. They
really-
carry the souls.
It's funny, I always knew it was like a Mexican thing.
The Mariposa, yeah.
It's I had an experience with a butterfly, not like supernatural or spiritual, but I remember saying to myself, I would love to have like the privilege of a butterfly being on my hand, like interacting in that way. And like 2 days later, I had that opportunity. There was a butterfly on the ground. So I said, okay, I'm gonna like take it out of the road. And I lived it, and it stayed with me and my sister for several minutes. Like it was very calm, it was very peaceful. And then I basically said, okay, I'm gonna walk you over to the grass. But it was such a beautiful moment. And I felt like it was the universe answering, because I said, you know, I would love that experience. And like a day or two later, it happened. Now, one could call it coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. But it was a very beautiful moment. And I think that the universe, or whatever you want to call it, brings you these moments when you really need it. And I do believe that we're watched over. There's so many experiences of people in situations that could have been life-threatening. Like I remember there was this famous case where this woman was walking alone, and there were these guys about to approach her, and then they made a beeline. And I think there was someone who was there. He says, well, why did you walk away? And he says, are you crazy? Didn't you see the 2 guys that were walking side by side? They were huge. There was no one with her. But those men saw 2 large men guarding her on either side. So what was that? So I definitely believe in guardian angels, or that someone, whether it's family, they look out for you. You know, I definitely believe that, so, yeah.
So I've had my foot grabbed.
I hate
in the middle of
that.
the night.
Oh.
It felt like a whole, like if I were to do it, it would be like.
Oh, I hate when
it
that
felt like
happens.
that.
I hate
Remember that movie White Noise came out? The one about the ghosts and the TV show, stuff like that. It was literally, I had watched that and I thought it was me freaking out. But like when I used to visit here and I didn't live here yet, I was like, I went to bed that night and I was kind of tossing and turning and couldn't like go to bed. And I was like, whatever, just a hard time. And I was, foot at the edge of the bed kind of deal, and I felt like what felt like a whole hand just gripped my ankle, and I flipped it. I freaked out, and I went to my parents, and they're like, "Whatever, you just imagine." And I was like, "No, it felt really real," and I freaked out, and they're like, "Maybe it's the cat," and the cat was sleeping in the living room.
And so I freaked. Hit you with a little claw.
They thought the cat maybe did like that, and maybe I wasn't overwhelmed, but it felt like a hand, you could feel the fingers go into it. And there was also when I lived in the basement of my parents' house.
I don't know how you slept in the basement. Oh my god.
It was fine. There was nothing wrong. My grandmother was in there before she passed and stuff like that. And that was fine, but my dad has it connects to where we do our laundry and stuff like that. And my dad's workshop is in there. So my friends used to come in through the downstairs door to say it looks like a saw. It looks like something at a saw. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. But there was one night when we have the boilers down there.
Oh god.
So I'm used to all the creaks and aches of the old house that we were in, and I was trying to go to bed one night. And I had turned my lights off and I was watching something on my computer, and all of a sudden I heard and it sounded like footsteps, because we had kind of a concrete floor.
And it was in 3?
It was always in 3s.
Oh.
And so it felt like it, and it sounded far away, and I was like, I heard it a couple times, but every time it felt like it got closer. But I at first I was like, it's gotta be the boiler, putzing around, or maybe my stepmother's walking around upstairs or something like that. But it got closer to the door, and eventually I started freaking out because it got to my door, and my door shook. And my door is known to shake, but this one was a little bit different than how my door normally shakes. And I was just and I was holy I'm I turned my computer off, I covered my head, and I'm I'm gonna go to bed now, we're gonna sleep now.
That helps. Covering your head makes all the difference. I had an experience.
It does, it makes you feel protected even though you're not. And the many horror movies show you demons are what?
It works. I had an experience.
I just went to sleep.
I had an experience when I was in high school, where I was with, and my high school was 2 floors. So I was on the first floor, and I was with a group of friends, and I heard someone say my name or something like that. Or actually, no, sorry, it's reverse, sorry. I was with a group of friends, and I was talking about my sister. And my sister, his name is Alexandra, but we call her Sandra. So my sister was on the 2nd floor, and she said, I heard you say my name. I heard someone call out in the crowd, and it sounded like her voice. I said, well, I wasn't on the 2nd floor, I was on the 1st, and I was talking about you. But at the same time, 2 different floors.
I was talking about
but it was a positive sense. It wasn't But she heard my voice call out her name in the crowd, and we were on 2 different floors. So I think there are connections. I think people are connected. My mom will be thinking about, I should be talking to Teresa today, and my Aunt Teresa will call her, just as Mom was thinking, I gotta talk to him, and she'll say, I was thinking about you, that I needed to call you. So my Aunt Teresa was a twin, but her twin was also named Francesca, passed away very young, and when my mother was born, she was named after that twin who passed away. And my Aunt Teresa always says, I think you may have been my twin, because they're very close. They're very close to one another, and she was named for the twin that passed away. She died, I think, at 2 or 3 months old, I think. She was very young. So it's possible, you never know. But those are very interesting experiences. But I've had that too, where I won't keep my foot uncovered, because that's what the monster will snatch.
Yeah, after getting grabbed, I was
you need to cover the feet.
I now sleep curled up, because I'm I don't want my feet hanging out the bed.
Well, my mom,
I lay low on the bed, so I just curl up. I'm we're just gonna.
The feet are protected.
And I'm under all comforters.
That's the way I used to with my sister when we were younger, though. Like I would just like mess with her while she was sleeping. She'd have no idea. I told her like 10 years later. I was like, yeah, all those nights where you were like woken up by something mysterious. I was like, yeah, that was me with you.
Oh, you are my older brother
I did that with my
that.
siblings too. My sister once drew like a half of a face and put it on my dresser, like ooh, scary face, and I was like, that's it. And I worked at a Halloween store
Oh,
at the time, so I bought like a mummy wrapped in like spider web, and I put it in her bed, and I like covered it and stuff like that. And so I was like, there you go.
Well, I am properly spooked now from all this, and I think I'm gonna
The library's haunted.
go drink some holy water and shake salt all over myself or something.
Well, my mom told me, I don't know if you've heard of the superstition where if you pass a graveyard, keep your mouth covered because the spirits will enter you if you pass a graveyard with your mouth open. My mom
It's
told
okay
that.
if they're sexy.
I was just told not to
I guess
talk.
so.
I was just told to give out like a moment of silence. That's what I do. You
but
never
my
talk
mother
during-
told that to my brother. She was like,
Yeah.
keep your mouth. My brother was young because the spirits will come in. To this day, though, if I do pass, I'm like,
Someone was like, oh.
That's a really long yawn, Simone. Wow. My house is right across from us, like a graveyard right now.
But I love graveyards. Like
It's
I
like a
like
really big
visiting
one.
graveyards. But like at one point, my mother said, you know, if you feel a presence, tell the person. Like basically, I understand you want to attach yourself to me, but go in peace. So I actually did
tell
that.
them to
I actually said
No,
that.
thank you.
No, I.
no touching.
And I-
Consent is key.
Like at one point, like, I was visiting, and I said, you know, if there are any spirits here, I'm being respectful. I apologize because I try to avoid intentionally stepping because you know some graves are in. I said I apologize. Like this is not my intent. I don't want to disturb you. If you want to attach yourself, please don't do that. Like go in peace. Like I'm here just to be respectful, but
Trying to ask
leave
my
me in peace. Like don't attach yourself to
Right,
me.
but what are they still doing in the physical graveyard?
I think
It's
what's
kind of, they should,
But I think maybe with some spirits, I think it might be there's an attachment. If you have loved ones that are remaining,
go to the house.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna haunt
Yeah,
all my
but you
friends.
could move the house.
I'm gonna move
You
things
can
around. I'm
move
gonna
the
like
house.
annoy them.
Yeah.
Right, well, I mean, so you actually need like a
I love this
GPS if you're a
painting.
ghost?
Shit.
When you find a way to
I know.
find
I
it?
just think there might be some places that have. And let me just. And thank you for joining us for this episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Bodies,
Bye.
bodies,
everybody.
bodies,
Bodies, bodies,
everybody.
bodies.
Watch it.